The value proposition of XRP is that it has these liquidity pools.
Welcome to the DeFi Standard, and this is Mickey B. Fresh. Ripple is building towards a future with a one-stop shop with all the core capabilities for any enterprise looking to leverage crypto within their business, and will continue solving adjacent customer needs as the industry evolves. Managing liquidity at scale. Liquidity is one of the key components that make crypto possible. It underpins every element of crypto, and by extension, Ripple's business, as well as any other company that is interested in leveraging the power of crypto solutions for business. So let's just think of that for a second. If liquidity underpins everything, did we really think it was going to depend on these crypto exchanges? Or is it going to depend on the XRP ledger, which was purpose-built to be a value exchange with a powerful order book that very few other networks have, is now getting the most innovative automated market maker solution to this day. It's going to have the most powerful liquidity and deepest pools that you could have. So this, combined with the modularity of the enterprise RippleNet and compliance and supported side chains, is where everything is focused. And this will pull all of the volume off of those exchanges to the ledger. Now it could use to support that, but we don't need to subsidize market makers anymore. Now we reward liquidity providers. So community, get ready to be rewarded. Wait till people hear they'll earn rewards in XRP. They'll be tripping over themselves to get in these pools. And, not financial advice. Every pool is different. But, there's a lot of people who have a very mundane or negative view. Clearly not everyone fully understands the impacts, especially some of these UNL validators. Liquidity Hub was developed to solve a core internal problem in Ripple's payment solution. As we continued to see more growth and scale of our solution, managing liquidity efficiently across geographies became more complex. We realized we needed to build the knowledge and expertise to source and manage liquidity on demand to support our payment customers' flows, and later saw that there was an opportunity to externalize this service for others that need a digital asset platform to access and manage crypto liquidity to meet the needs of their customers. Ultimately, it's about adopting crypto to simplify their business operations. And we know from their recent New Value Report 2023, over 76% of global financial leaders of 1,600 that they surveyed, 76% said they are very interested in DeFi to bring into their crypto, DeFi and crypto to bring into their solutions. And that's going to be harnessed. And we're seeing this already with Hong Kong. That's a home equity line of credit. That's a DeFi type protocol. With Palau, they're doing a micro peer-to-peer lending. It's the applications. And they're not going to be centralized. They're going to harness the inherent DeFi protocols. So the community needs to get used to that. There's like this stubbornness that persists, that we're getting through it, but it's like a lot of still the banks will use concept. Every time I hear that, I just shake my head still, because we're past that already. The banks are not using anything anytime soon. That's not what we should be looking at. So I always try to repeat that in the video once. So if you hear that, I do it on purpose. So it's a core part of their business, like an NFT marketplace, a crypto ATM, a point of sale merchant. Now, those are some, use cases. or those who are using it to unlock a better, faster, and more efficient payments experience, like Ripple does for our payments customers. So here's the thing to keep in mind. DeFi, you could just call on-chain finance if you want. And that's financial markets. It's borrowing, it's lending, it's derivatives, it's providing liquidity. That's a new type of financial primitive that you couldn't do in the traditional market. You can't go to your local bank and say, hey, I'd like to deposit some US dollars to provide liquidity for you and earn some interest. But you can literally do that with stablecoins too. So we talk about it with XRP, but there'll be reasons in the future to hold other assets, and there's no reason to keep them holding in cold wallets if they could be earning, especially all these layer one networks. There's no reason people should be holding or want to hold and knowingly understand the network when they could be earning securely. Now, if there's not safe solutions, it's immature, that's understandable. But in the future, that's where this is going. If there's demand for the asset, it's a network, it has native usage to earn on it. Why would you not earn? It's like saying, well, I could put it in the bank or cash under the mattress, but I'm not going to put it in the bank because it's not paying anything. But if the bank was paying you 10 to 20%, you'd probably put it there. And if it was, your own bank, the way it is under your mattress. So what's new at Liquidity Hub? Since we first launched Liquidity Hub, we're continuing to see momentum as customers turn to Ripple to source crypto on demand for a variety of business needs. As we continue to grow and scale, we are continuously looking to add new features and functionality, combining capabilities we've already built in-house with the needs of our customers. So available new regions, in addition to availability in certain states in the US. So it looks like they say certain states, and they're getting these licenses in certain states to be money service provider license. Like, that's a direct integration then. So we need to keep our eye on this a little more with Liquidity Hub and where this is going. Because remember, this is an exchange and distributed trading platform. And we just need to keep our eyes continuously on this and always have an open mind. Nothing is off the table. Availability in new regions, Australia and Brazil. So that's good to see. And new assets, USDC and USDT. Some people were upset by that. Why would you be upset by that? I don't understand. We need stablecoins because XRP's liquidity is mostly to USDC and USDT. So having them on Liquidity Hub makes sense. Now, we want to drive new liquidity on Ledger to newer stablecoins. And we're going to see that. It's going to come, and these cycles are going to get broken. I don't know if it's going to be this one, but real-world assets are going to break it. It's just going to completely twist them apart. I don't know if it's going to be this one, but this will be probably the last one. Because it'll be just overhauled so much because there'll be so much influx of a new market being integrated with crypto that these networks will then start to have their native demands to where they won't be manipulated the same way. And the markets will move on chain and they'll be used more. And it almost won't be bots trading on fiat leak and looking at the chart and things shooting off. Like, that's 2018 stuff. New features were added to the streamlining the operations, including additional trading UI features and improved SLAs, which is service level agreements. For crypto depositing process, this greatly improves the customer experience for a variety of customer segments, including NFT marketplaces, crypto ATMs, and brokers. So this was something very interesting. We're excited about a number of new features coming soon, including a sandbox environment and added functionality to continue improving the experience for our customers. This sandbox environment, I feel comfortable speculating on this. Why would you need a sandbox environment for? What would you be doing that would need to be sandboxed first? DeFi and integrating with DeFi protocols and native on-ledger AMMs maybe, but really I think DeFi lending, borrowing, and liquidity pools are great for locking up XRP as liquidity, but the real money shot is the money market account. Getting XRP in there, that will have a significant impact on XRP's price if it has a deep borrowing and lending market. There's a lot of people willing to lend. There's a lot of people willing to borrow. And that will drive a lot of XRP to be locked up. And the liquidity tokens will be the primary collateral. So that becomes another way to utilize XRP, but it's not like on the market. It's trading as an asset. It's a new asset. It's almost a better asset in a way because it's yield bearing. It's a redeemable claim that could be converted into 3 different assets. So that liquidity token could get converted into XRP, the other asset, or 50-50 of both assets at any time. And it's earning yield, daily compounding, every day, all day, every day. And it's guaranteed by the ledger. It has no direct, it's immutable, censorship resistant. And its only exposure is to the price peg of the other asset that's issued in the pool. And with a regulated entity, as long as they're doing redeeming and we're at a high interest rate, that's really not much of a risk. Now, there can be risky pools, so, caution, but for the majority of most of them, that's a very minimal risk. So it's not been talked about much, but I keep saying it, just like I kept saying about the distributed trading platform and that everything's getting integrated to the ledger. These liquidity tokens are going to be, they're just one way that you could, that alone, without even these innovations of continuous auction mechanism and all this other stuff, the liquidity token alone would give you the ability to remove all impermanent loss just by utilizing it in a certain way. It's how you use it. So, people get so scared of things, but they don't really understand them. And there's definitely, I think, and there's been some, friends of mine or people I've known closely that, not to their fault at all, but just because it's a complex thing and the industry is still grappling with how to understand it and explain it, that you would think, well, I lose out on XRP if I'm in a liquidity pool. I cannot have as much because of impermanent loss. And the reality is, it's the exact opposite, really, because the pool is earning every day XRP. Price goes up, down, doesn't matter. It's earning more. Where impermanent loss implies a sharp jump, and then you don't earn as much. But then if the price comes back down, now you're back even again. And now if you were in liquidity pool, you would have earned the whole time there. And if you were holding, you would earn nothing. So it's what happens in between, really. And there's ways to mitigate that. And that's what the XLS30D is. It mitigates a lot of those to begin with. But you also have the LP token too. And we can't forget about that. You don't lose assets by going in the pool. You gain assets. And that was my explanation to them. And I understand it's not, don't feel overwhelmed with this, because it's not even just our community, and it's not just it's everyone in crypto. It's a brand new way of trading. When's the last time we had a new way of trading? This allows everyone to provide liquidity, but they're only going to get better. Everyone always likes to think like, well, there's flaws, this has this drawback. If you look, everything seems to always, if there's a will and there's efforts made, and as long as there's not a major technical barrier, innovations will overcome them. Like, for example, where there's a barrier, Bitcoin mining. The Bitcoin community does not want to upgrade from mining. That's a barrier. It's not going to happen. Can they? Yes. So, that's a flaw, but it can be overcome, but there's no will. Just like with these AMMs, they're going to get better and better and better and better. And I think XRP ledgers, AMM, and Uniswap V4 are going to definitely be considered the next generation of AMMs. Uniswap V4 is going to be out next year, and that's going to be significant. And that's why we need to get it going with the XLS 30D and get fiat, like real regulated, compliant fiat stablecoins on there, paired to XRP. And once we have that, that will allow an ecosystem to develop around it. And then everyone can participate. We'll get new people coming in that will buy XRP literally just because, well, if I buy Bitcoin, I don't earn yield. Well, if I buy ETH, I got to go stake it at one of those places. This you could do non-custodial. Like there's no trusting a DAO, a DApp, a centralized exchange, straight from your non-custodial wallet, and you get an immutable asset back. When all that is laid out for people and the ecosystem becomes more mature, we should start to see a shift in the narrative. It's going to be a tough one to make this shift, but it's going to be there's so much going on. It will shift. The price going up will help. That's for sure. I know I don't talk about price much, and I don't make price predictions. You know why I don't make price predictions? Because you can't make price predictions if you don't know exactly how the demand is going to be impacted. All these people make these price predictions based off speculation, and that's not what's going to drive the price. So they're all irrelevant. Every price prediction is irrelevant. And the charts, don't get me started with that. That's a waste in the future because it's going to work until it doesn't work. And we're going to move past that because they're not stocks. And they're not going to run just on speculation. And all of a sudden, things are going to move in different ways than what was expected there because of demand. And we want we want utility, right? Everyone talks about utility. But we need people to use the asset and participate for there to be utility. It's like the banks and institutions aren't going to just use it for the hell of using it because it's the chosen one. It's not the chosen one. We can make it the chosen one. And I think it will get there. But there'll be many winners. And the value will go up along the way. So I do want everyone, when I do talk about prices, that I look at it as it going in phases. Like, I wouldn't look at, you could put targets. I think that's, a good strategy. But expect it to go in phases and not just one ride to, $20 or one ride to $50. It's going to come in phases. And as there's more demands, it will get up to the next level. Can there be jumps if we're very undervalued and there's a massive demand push? Yeah, it could jump. What we don't want to see is speculative pumps. That's not healthy for anybody. And if we see that, it's still possible. It's not healthy. We don't want to see that. I wouldn't even get excited over it. We need to see natural demand just pushing upward and chugging and pulling supply off the market and TVL going up. So you'll be able to look at the metrics. How much TVL is there in the pools? And if that number keeps going up and up and up and up and up, you know that now there's less supply in the market. Eventually the price is going to get pushed up because it's just supply and demand. There's a lot of supply out there. Don't let anyone tell you this. There's a lack of XRP on exchanges. There's a ton because it's all in cold wallets and exchanges. There's nothing locked up. Until it's locked up, it's freely circulating. So that's a lot. But it's not. Also, I see some people write, though, that, the supply is too high. Let's talk about the supply thing for a second. Every ERC20 token has 18 decimal points. So I never understood when somebody says, this one only has a 15 million supply. It doesn't have a 15 million supply. It has 18 decimal points behind it. It's all psychological. Quant doesn't have a low supply. There's 18 decimal points. I never understood that concept. It's all human psychology. But from a mathematical point of view, it's how many decimal points it has. Like XRP only has 6 decimal points. I believe Bitcoin has 8. And there is still more XRP drops than there are Satoshis, but they're not that far off. It's how many are there of the drops in Satoshis. If you really wanted to quantify what the supply is. Because I don't think people talk about that enough. They just look at that number. But if you could buy fractions of something, then what makes that the supply then? Who cares? It's only with dollars we can't go past the penny. So you can't fractionalize a penny. So here you have 18 decimal points on ERC20s. 18. That's a lot. So there's a lot of whatever they want to call them. They're called WEI, I think. WEI, I believe. So yeah, there's a lot. So I think that's all psychological. And it still might apply though, because people, if they believe there's a low supply, the market believes it. Sure thing, but it's just not. I just found that funny. Always. All right. So Ripple has spent years creating a robust global network of on and off ramps via Ripple payments. Today we have payout capabilities in 70 countries, representing more than 90% of the daily FX market. In the future, Liquidity Hub will tap into the power of Ripple's global network, combining the power of crypto liquidity and access to global markets. A new integration with the XRP ledger's native decentralized exchange will buttress global liquidity options for Ripple customers, streamlining the onboarding process to new markets and improving product performance, expanding liquidity to new options. And RippleNet payments can fulfill the liquidity needs on demand 24/7, 365. As I've been saying, the integration into the XRP Ledger DEX has been the plan all along. For 18 months, that's what I've been saying. Finally, thank you, Ripple, we've been validated. And this now should be a wake-up call for anyone who is in denial that this is real. It's coming. And you will be able to be a part of it. More so than just riding the coattails.